Hello and welcome to Turf and Touchdowns podcast number 9, focusing once again on the horse racing side of things off a bit of heartbreak last week. We'll get to that in a moment. Myself, Luke Elder, as always, alongside Tom Collins. Are you over last week yet, or are you still healing?
Well, the thing is, you were a lot more confident on mind frame than I was, but obviously we were both with the same horse. I think I'm over it. It took me a while. It takes me a while to get over bets that I'm very confident about. Mine was more speculative. I imagine you're still, feeling the pain. However, I'm kind of more happy that we just got Sierra Leone right.
We got everything right.
We did.
I mean, in fairness, you got Dornoch right as well, because you've got a lovely anti-post slip for the Kentucky Derby. I think you're the first person ever to have a bet on a Kentucky Derby horse and have them win one of the classic races over a mile and 2 furlongs and not cash their Derby bet.
Yeah, to be fair, that is painful. I placed the bet. When did I place it? It must have been February time, or even earlier actually, on Dornoch to win the Kentucky Derby at 33-1. And then, he drew the 1 hole in the Derby, and then he ran badly. So I thought, maybe I was just wrong. But obviously not. He turned out in the Belmont and proved superior. That was a good ride on the front as well. Front running bias track the whole week, which is a little annoying, but it wouldn't be annoying for Danny Gargan or the owners.
Just before we get into the heartbreak, do remember to subscribe, leave a comment down below. And if you like as well, it really helps out the channel and helps us as well. We are also over on Twitter at Turf Touchdowns and on all other social medias at Turf and Touchdowns. But we'll start the therapy session because I feel like I need it. Last week, we got everything right, except for Dornoch.
Yeah.
Last week, I texted you just before the off saying, with the way the track's playing, I think mind frame is an absolute certainty. Turning for home, I thought he was an absolute certainty. I couldn't see any way he didn't go past. And then he hung about. That's whatever. Last week, I put up the 1, 2, 3 of mind frame to beat Sierra Leone, to beat Honor Marie. They finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that order. Yeah. This is coming off the back of 3 of the most desperate selections I think I've ever put up in my entire life at Saratoga on Friday night. So you could say I needed the win, but mind frame wasn't about that. I'm still not there.
The thing is, he ran very well. Like, I know it sounds like we're kind of bemoaning the fact that he didn't win the race, but he, I would say, performed above expectations of every other person. I didn't see anyone else put up mind frame across numerous platforms, especially in the US. They were all anti-mind frame. So he ran to what we thought he would run to, and he beat Sierra Leone, who was the horse to beat. But it just so happened that the track was playing in the favour of the front runners, and Dornoch stole it off the front. I can understand your frustration. I think mind frame was way the best. The fact he hung right and then hung left a little bit probably cost him a length and a half, and that would have been the difference between winning and losing. Many people will say Sierra Leone was the best. I disagree with that.
I think he was the best in this one, to be fair. I'm going to give him the credit. I just don't think he wants to win. I don't think he is a fan of it. He's the best horse in the race that I want nothing to do with going forward. And to be fair, you sort of said it coming out of the Kentucky Derby. I was half on board. I'm fully on board now. I don't know what race he might be able to win at the Grade 1 level for the rest of the year. The Travers is the possible, but he's got no chance in a Breeders' Cup Classic.
No, I would say so as well. I'm already with a horse for that race, which we'll come to closer to the time. But yeah, I think the Travers will probably be the last chance of him to actually win this season. I don't like him for the race. I haven't looked at it properly yet, but I will not put him up because he probably will be favourite. I don't think he was the best because the way he gets himself into trouble in races, it's a tendency that happens every single time. Say that was a one-off and usually he gets a clean trip and goes about his business and wins. Then I would be saying, well, he was unlucky because he wasn't able to fulfill his potential in the race, getting bumped out the gates and then bumped on the turn. But he's just so far back, Luke. Like, it's so difficult to win from way back there. You've got to show more tactical speed. He got close and he ran a really good final 2 furlongs on splits. But you trying to give up 10 lengths to the leaders on a speed favouring track, it's just almost impossible.
Yeah, I think Chad Brown knew about that before because I think he was on FanDuel TV and he was not happy the way of the track. And understandable, if Sierra Leone was your horse, you were going to be livid at the way the track was playing because it essentially meant you couldn't win going out. But we also got Sierra Leone right because we said he's booked for second or third, more than likely second. So we got that part at least spot on, but we just got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, the thing is, and we're all about punting here and giving tips and trying to find winners. Obviously, if you love Sierra Leone as a horse, then so be it. But as a punter, he's always going to be overbet. Every single time he gets to the track, he's going to be a short price. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter if it's a really deep field or if it's a weak field. He will probably be favourite, and he'll be too short. So moving forward, even if you like Sierra Leone and think he was the best in the Belmont, or just think he's the best 3-year-old, you still kind of have to have this feeling that he's going to be overbet. Therefore, you've got to find the value and take him on. You're not going to win money if you bet Sierra Leone at 6-4, 5-4 in every race he runs.
Yeah, I mean, he's already 10-1 for the Classic. I think he's favourite for the Travers.
Yeah.
Look elsewhere. We will be building up towards the Travers, obviously, in plenty of time. That's not till the middle to late part of August. We know the City of Troy will not be going for the Travers, so no UK representative from that side of things, but he might still be going for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, we'll move on to more pressing matters. We have searched far and wide for the best possible race to cover. There were one or two possibilities, but we thought, you know what? Why not stay up incredibly late on technically Sunday morning in the UK? I think the Chorleywood Overnight Stakes, Tom, goes off at 2:30 our time in the morning.
Yeah, it's an early one or a late one, depending on how you feel about things. Late one for me, for sure, but it's definitely the best race. We could have chose the Grade 2 Better Roses at Belmont at the Big A, but it's just not a great event. I feel like we'd be talking about it for about a minute and then go, well, that's our selection then. Whereas this, there are international raiders. We've got a horse from Charlie Appleby stable in the field. There are some good US horses as well. And crucially, it's on turf. And that's kind of our speciality. We do well on dirt, don't get us wrong. But turf racing is what we know, obviously being Europeans. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this.
I think this week we're going to team up, but be against each other at the same time. Yeah. But I think we both like what each other's doing from different angles. But we'll get to that part. The first part, as we should address in almost every single US race, turf or dirt or synthetic, the pace angles in here. I think they could go a relatively decent gallop. I know Sugwa got a nice enough lead last time around. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that's going to open up the race for a few others. But who did you have on the front end?
Yeah, the same horse as you. And I also think they're going to go pretty hard as well, because not only does it look like to be pace pressure, but Sugwa is a horse that stays further and he likes to get on with things. He's not one that they get to the front with, then try to slow down and then use a kick. He's very much a grinder. So they'll go steady, they'll go solid fractions from the outset and look to just burn off the others. I don't think that'll be the case, but he's relatively short on the morning line. So whoever makes the morning line down at Churchill, Nick Tomorrow, shout out. I think they fancy him a little bit.
I'm shocked he's 5-1 morning line.
Me too.
I mean, last time he was a 33-1 winner.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be that far off that price. I think he just had things go absolutely spot on last time around. But he is going to be part of the pace angle. Look, we'll get to Charlie Appleby's runner, Bold Act, the UK runner. He's a very, very talented horse. I was all over him at, I think, Keeneland last year when I saw put forward to you. Jamie Spencer gave him a fantastic ride, even though Jamie will say that he absolutely messed it up and it was awful and he got out of trouble. But I think that Bold Act is a very, very talented horse. And a race like this, I think, is going to suit him perfectly. I will also say as well, Florent Geroux last time around was absolutely dreadful.
We did say going into that race, I think we were on Sky the night before, a couple of nights before, whenever it was. We did say, why is Florent Geroux on? Because Giroux's not a guy that rides for Godolphin. He's also not someone who will be perfect for a horse like Bold Act. Takes a bit of rousting, is a closer. Geroux is very high up in the saddle and he loves riding those speed horses from Brad Cox's barn. I didn't love the jockey book in there and it kind of proved to be that case in the race. He's the best horse, I have no doubt about it. And that race you were talking about last year at Keeneland, the Grade 3 Sycamore in October, he was very good and he came off a decent pace up front and kicked quick and clear in the closing stages, kicked on and won decisively. If he reproduces that effort, he'll win. Even if he reproduces his Group 2 Dubai Gold Cup effort, he will win. But, and this is my big but, he's been beaten at 2-5 and 3-5 on his 2 US starts this season. Do I want to bet him at a short price? No. But I do think he's dangerous, especially with Tyler Gaffalione taking over.
This is the negative. I'm not sure about Tyler. I like Tyler Gaffalione. He's a good rider. I think Bold Act might be a European jockey's ride, in that I don't think US jockeys are strong enough to hold him. US jockeys are generally more about the streamlined angle. They're more about getting the timings right. In the saddle, they're not the strongest, but aesthetically wise, they are very pleasing on that part. And I think they're more tactically aware than some of our European counterparts. So credit to them on that part, but they're also not designed to be sort of strong, I'm going to lift you home jockeys. Last time around, I think Bold Act really took the mick out of Florent Geroux quite a bit. I think Florent Geroux allowed himself to do that. And I didn't realise how bad the ride was until I was looking back at it sort of yesterday, a couple of days ago. In that he came out of the stalls, instantly took a pull. Right, you sat last. Not ideal. Don't know why you want to be there. And then by the time they've come into the home straight, he's making a move to sit up in third. Yeah. And then he's taken another pull. And then he's gone forward again. He used this horse so inefficiently that by the time he came into the home straight when it mattered, the race was already run. He was going to be beaten by pretty much anything that had a little bit of a kick. Obviously, they couldn't get to Sugua. The Grey Wizard was a good selection by yourself the other night in the Siscani race, the Belmont Gold Cup.
Yep.
Yeah. That form already looks okay. If Tyler Gaffalione, okay, Tyler, if you're watching this, jump out, sit fifth, bit of cover, win. That's all you have to do. Don't overcomplicate things. Give him a bit of cover and let him prove that he's the best horse in the race. That's the plan for Bold Act.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with what you're saying. And to be fair, if he does get that kind of perfect trip, he will probably win. He is the most talented. There's no doubt about it. He stays the best. He's probably the best horse. But I'm just worried that when horses lose at short prices consecutively, then they start to become horses that are cliff horses for many. People would still chuck their money at them because they were unlucky. And then go off short prices and risk-free reward over the long term is just not the way forward. I'm not dead against you. I do think Bold Act is the most logical winner, but I'll be looking elsewhere for my play.
Speaking of cliff horses, enter Webslinger. Yes. This is a horse that Tom has been on the cliff for longer than me. Yeah. I will say that, but I have joined him in recent times. In fairness, he ran a really good race last time around. My shortlist was Bold Act and Webslinger. Your shortlist was Webslinger and Bold Act. So we're pretty much singing from the same hymn sheet, but I fully understand why you're with Webslinger. But tell us anyway.
Yeah, he's a closer. He always gets terrible trips. This is the problem. He's right out the back, and either he goes 5 wide around the bend and then loses a lot of momentum, has to go fast in the horse on the inside to maintain his position, and then finishes third or fourth, and he makes you think he's unlucky. Or he goes between horses and finds traffic and then only gets clear late, again making you think he's unlucky. Now, this is very similar to what I was just saying about Bold Act. However, Webslinger usually goes off a decent price. Last time up in the Grade 1 Turf Classic, he was sent off 16-1 when I put him up, and he finished third. I thought he ran very well that day. Arguably could have won turning for home, but he just found a couple of rivals too strong, including Program Trading. Didn't really perform overly well at Saratoga last week, but that's neither here nor there. Webslinger usually goes off a fair price, and because Bold Act is in this race on Saturday, I still think he's going to go off a fair price. Obviously nothing like 16s, but maybe 3-1, 11-4, and given the lack of depth in this race and the form of Webslinger, he's a proper Grade 1 horse on turf. He has to be the play for me. Crucially, his form at Churchill Downs is super strong. He's 2 from 3 at the track, and the Turf Classic was the only defeat, and that's when he was third, and that was a Grade 1. So I think this venue specifically suits him. When he starts running in New York, tighter turning tracks, or even at Gulfstream, tighter turning track, because of his style and the way he likes to circle the field, it doesn't really pan out for him. But at Churchill, he usually goes well. The big question mark I have is the trip. He's only run over this far once. He ran okay, to be fair, and it looked like he stayed. But usually he runs over 1 mile, 1 furlong. Now he's stepping up in distance. He has to prove that he has the stamina.
I think he'll be okay. I think the longer he gets to travel into a race, probably the better it's going to be for him. He is a very strong travelling individual. We saw that last time around. I was with Webslinger as well. I think we were texting each other sort of just after the race. We both went from, Webslinger's going to win, to, please hold on for third. And he did by the barest of margins, but he's a very talented horse. My next question you're probably not going to like.
Go on.
But price up the pair of them.
What, you want realistic prices, or you want my prices?
Are you unrealistic?
No, I'm saying like the prices I would bet them at, or do you want what I think the SPs will be?
What you both.
Well, I think the SPs. I think Bold Act will probably go 6-4, maybe. Webslinger 5-2, 9-4. But I think Web Slinger will open bigger and Bold Act will open around 6-4 because of the Appleby angle. I think if you can get Bold Act at 2-1, then he's a good bet. But I wouldn't want to take shorter, not because he doesn't deserve to be shorter, but because he is churning money at the moment. Web Slinger, anything around 5-2 is good enough for me.
I'm similar. I'm similar, to be fair. Bold Act, I had 7-4 in my head as about the shortest I'd go. I'm hoping he doesn't go 6-4, but I think Web Slinger about 5-2 as well. I think that's very fair. Either way, I don't know about you. I don't know if it's your sort of bet. I will be playing them in a reverse forecast or a box exacta if you're over in the US. I love them finishing 1-2, and I think they could be a little way better than the rest here.
Yeah, it does sound unoriginal because they are likely to be first and second favourite, but I agree with you. They just look way above the rest in terms of talent. It's not my type of play, but I'll certainly be cheering on for you. I'm more of just a win singles type of man. So I'll be weighing in on Web Slinger, providing he is the price we just indicated there. It's not just about the two in the race. I mean, there are others like Sugjar, Utah Beach, Tawny Port. If he runs here, he may go to Monmouth instead. He's doubly entered. But if you're just weighing up those against Web Slinger and Bold Act, two horses who could easily perform at Grade 1 level, just look like they're over here and the rest of the field's over here. It looks like an easy 1-2.
It is weird because you look at bare speed figures. Tawny Port's not that far away, and honestly, not many of them are that far away. Stone Age is in here. We'll remember him from his time with Aidan O'Brien. He must have completely lost his way because even Chad Brown gave up with him. So very much a learning experience with Stone Age. But even Red Run, you've got King Curlin in there, Utah Beach. Anglophiles run some of the best bare speed figures in recent times of the lot, and he ran a shocker last time around. On paper, there's not much between these, but in real world terms, I think there's quite a bit between the first two and the rest of them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Anglophile's an interesting horse. I really liked him for a race down at Gulfstream in the spring. He didn't run overly well. I think he finished mid-division, but he tends to be that horse that sits in midfield and then has that turn of foot rather than the likes of Web Slinger who's way out the back with the turn of foot. So when tactical speed is important, Anglophile is a horse you should look at, especially for forecast, tricast, exacta trifectas, etc. The issue with him is that he's drawn gate 11. So he's probably going to sit a wide trip here, even though Sugjar has drawn 10, they're going to go forward. He wouldn't be for me in this race, but I would keep him on side for later targets. I do think we've got this race spot on. It just depends on who's going to come home with the winner. Will it be Web Slinger? Will it be Bold Act?
I can't wait to clip that up for socials. I think we've got this spot on as they trail in last and second last. There's no other way about this.
The one disclaimer is we do need speed. We do need Sugjar to go forward and pace pressure. Otherwise, if it develops into a sprint, we could be talking about a couple of hard luck stories this time next week.
Yeah, but for socials, my selection is Bold Act, who I think has got a very strong chance in this. Last time around, Florent Giroux did not give him a very good ride at all. I thought he was awful. Tyler Gaffalione is an upgrade in that department. I just want Tyler Gaffalione to sit sort of 5th, 6th, and then try and pick them off in the home straight, but to use the horse to better effect, because last time it was very much an inefficient ride from Florent Giroux. I absolutely think Web Sling is the danger. I'll be playing both of them in a reverse forecast. Tom Collins?
Web Slinger is my selection. I'm hoping for 5-2 or bigger. It's likely, given he's 4-1 on the morning line. Deep closer, a horse that I love. Seem to tip him and back him every time he runs, but he never really lets me down. Always there or thereabouts. And this is the weakest competition that he has faced for a long time. So hopefully he can get the job done for Mark Casse and Jose Ortiz.
Perfect. That is the Chorleywood Overnight Stakes, which is going to be probably something you're going to be waking up to if you're in the UK, because it's a very late night affair at 2:30 a.m. Race 7 on the card at Churchill Downs on Saturday. Thank you very much for your time and being with us today. Hopefully you managed to land a bet or two in the Belmont, even though we got, as I say, everything right and nothing to show for it. If you did manage to land a winner in the Belmont, do let us know down below and let us know your thoughts on this week's contest and any other bets that you may well be looking forward to. We've also got Royal Ascot next week. We won't be doing anything in particular on Royal Ascot, but do check our socials for anything extra at Turf Touchdowns on Twitter and every other social, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. We are at Turf and Touchdowns. Don't forget as well to subscribe, leave a comment down below as well. I think that's all my duties done, Tom.
Yeah, I think so. You've won an outro. That is one of the best outros I've ever seen. Next week is an interesting card in the US as well. Obviously, we'll be doing the US Horse Racing Pod this time next week for next Saturday. Maybe they're Ohio Derby, but it all depends on who's running where. It's not the best of Saturdays. The week after, it properly cranks up a gear with Grade 1 action at Churchill, though.
Yes, very much looking forward to that part starting. But we've got Royal Ascot to get out of the way first. Also, if you think you have an American winner at Royal Ascot, leave their name down below. And I wish you the best of luck with that as well. But thank you very much for listening and watching to the Turf and Touchdowns podcast this week. We will be back in a week's time. Until then, have a very good week. Stay safe. Look after another. Goodbye.